Hey guys! Before we begin, I'm just here to let you know that this video is sponsored by the lovely folks over at Dollar Shave Club. For all of your grooming needs like toothpaste, body wash, hairstyling products, everything to make you feel, smell, and look great, Dollar Shave Club has you covered. They're giving away their Daily Essentials Starter Set, which includes 3 trial-size versions of their shave butter, body wash, and One Wipe Charlies, as well as their Executive Razor complete with a full set of cartridges. All of this for a whoppingly low $5. That's cheap, yo! And you lovely bearded mofos can get all of this by going to dollarshaveclub.com/anime. Every purchase helps support the channel because God knows YouTubers can't survive in this treacherous adpocalypse much longer. Again, go to dollarshaveclub.com/anime and make yourself $1 million man. Seriously, the girls will love it, just trust me on this.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man. So a lot of people in the anime community tend to be very open when it comes to their opinions on certain anime or just anything that has to do with the anime community. And because there are so many different opinions being thrown around in this community, there are some that are popular, and then there are some opinions that are unpopular. And I think both are just as important as one another, but I feel that especially the unpopular opinions kind of get pushed under the rug a little bit. They don't get talked about as often as I think they should. So in today's video, I am going to be reading through your guys' unpopular opinions on anime that you guys gave to me over on my Twitter and read them out and basically give my opinions on your unpopular opinion. It's like an opinionception. And I tweeted this out like 5-6 hours ago and there are 2,000 comments. Seems you guys are very opinionated in the unpopular category. So without further ado, let's go! Slice of life is boring as fuck and I don't understand how anyone watches it. Look, I get that. I mean, is this an unpopular opinion? Maybe, depending on who you ask. I know that a lot of people in the anime community, you know, love slice of life stuff, but not so much for its like artistic endeavors, just the fact that, you know, slice of life is just like a thing that you just watch after a long hard days of work, long hard day at school to just relax and unwind. I made a whole video on what exactly slice of life is and I guess the benefits to slice of life. Links to that in the description if you want to check it out. But I feel that if you're one of those people like Amanda who say that slice of life is boring, then you're clearly not the demographic for slice of life. A lot of people who find slice of life boring, I feel, are the types of people who are watching anime for the story element. Whereas a lot of people who watch slice of life tend to watch it for the character element or how it looks or just, you know, we don't necessarily need like this amazing grandiose story in our anime. We just, I don't know, maybe sometimes we kind of just want to watch a bunch of cute girls doing their everyday thing because they can. If you eat steak every day, sometimes you'll want a hamburger. And look, I'm not saying that all slice of life is awesome or anything. Like, I like my slice of life, don't get me wrong, but I will also admit that there are a lot of slice of life out there that are just plain fucking boring. One of my favorite slice of life of all time is Lucky Star, and there are a number of reasons why I absolutely love Lucky Star, and, you know, it's fine if you don't like it because something like Dagashi Kashi, which was a slice of life that a lot of people enjoyed, I thought was fucking boring. But I feel it has to do with the content of which the slices of life are being shown in that slice of life anime. I feel it has to do, it's not so much a story base or a character base, but basically what slices of these characters' lives they decide to emphasize in the series. Not everything has to revolve around high school girls. How dare you? This is definitely an unpopular opinion considering the overabundance of high school girls in anime. But in all honesty, I do actually agree. I feel that the high school genre, or just high school girls as a concept, is definitely really oversaturated when it comes to the anime market, but at the same time it also makes a lot of sense just based on the core demographics of the people who watch those kinds of high school oriented or high school anime girl oriented series. Think of your typical Japanese otaku and he's most likely this middle-aged male who is, you know, has no connections to girls or anything like that. You know, you're the good old stinking otaku 2, the forever version, the 40-year-old version, real life. And it's those kinds of people, I feel, that are more gravitated towards high school-oriented or high school girl-oriented things, because it has to do with the way that Japanese schools are built up and how basically, you know, the time of puberty, which is a time that a lot of these kinds of people miss because it was a great time. Or maybe it was a time that they didn't get to experience fully, you know, based upon, you know, maybe they got bullied in school or whatever. And so to fulfill the fantasies of their high school times that they perhaps didn't get to play out in real life, they instead watch these kinds of high school oriented shows. These shows that have these really cute or really beautiful high school anime girls, because maybe they never got to experience that world when they were in puberty. The time of puberty, or seishun as they call it in Japanese, is one of the most memorable times of anyone's life, whether good or bad. But yes, I will admit there are a lot of shows that are based in high school or that have high school anime girls that are pretty fucking boring, and they need to cut that shit out. Hey, you can like subs and dubs. You don't have to pick one or the other. Thank you very much. Although, it's still fucking fun to say that one is better than the other just to get a salty reaction out of somebody. Boku no Pico is a masterpiece. I said unpopular opinion? Samurai Champloo is way better than Cowboy Bebop. Thank you very much. Finally. Look, I'm not saying that Cowboy Bebop sucks or anything, because Cowboy Bebop is Cowboy Bebop. Like, it's even if you've never seen it, you at least know the name of the show. And don't get me wrong, I loved Cowboy Bebop. Like, I absolutely love Cowboy Bebop, but just based upon the way that the show was presented and the overall aesthetic of the show, I just think Samurai Champloo is so much better than Cowboy Bebop. And again, both are amazing. Don't get me wrong, you know, but I personally agree with this unpopular opinion that yes, I do think Samurai Champloo was just a much more fun ride than Cowboy Bebop. Shonen anime is always the same. Yeah, it's true, but I feel that because it's the same, that's why it's loved so much, because it's something familiar. Your typical anime watcher doesn't like experimenting with their anime. They rather prefer to watch something that they either know fully well and they can still get excited about, instead of going off and watching these new genres or watching this completely new type of anime that they have never experienced and they don't know if they'll enjoy. At least with shonen, the fact that they're all kind of the same, like based on like really like fundamental core elements of what makes up a shonen, even if the story does change, there are familiar points, and so they know that they're most likely going to enjoy that shonen rather than something completely different. Like, if you watched and liked Yu Yu Hakusho, then you're most likely also going to watch Hunter x Hunter. If you watched and liked One Piece, then you're most likely going to enjoy Naruto. But somebody who, say, watched Bleach isn't necessarily going to enjoy Serial Experiments Lane. Even though you should, because it's fucking amazing. Anime is unrealistic and is only for children because it's animated. I said unpopular opinion, not wrong. Zankyo no Terror is so underrated. Yes and no. Yes, it is underrated in the fact that it's definitely not a show title that pops up in everybody's head when we say anime. But no, in the sense that every single person who watched Zankyo no Terror is calling it like this fucking masterpiece of a show. And I get it. Yeah, it's good. I liked it. But I don't think it was fucking amazing. If we're talking solely about a show based upon urban terrorism, then I think something like Bloody Monday is a much better show, just narratively. But yeah, Zankyo no Terror definitely, aesthetically, looks fucking amazing. The directing work on that was superb, and yes, I think more people should know about it. The manga of Tokyo Ghoul Re is better. It's not an unpopular opinion. It's an unpopular opinion among Tokyo Ghoul fans, but it's certainly not an unpopular opinion overall. Not watching mainstream/popular anime is okay. Don't make people feel bad for not watching them. And yeah, I absolutely agree. But then again, it kind of boils down to what kind of person isn't watching the mainstream shows. Because I honestly feel that it's kind of the opposite. Like, I feel that the people who only watch the weird, obscure stuff are the ones that go off and bash on people who do go and watch the mainstream stuff, and not the other way around. Like, you'll hear more elitists going, "Oh, you fucking watch One Piece and Naruto, you're such a pleb," rather than a pleb who loves One Piece and Naruto being like, "Oh, you don't watch One Piece and Naruto? What, you fucking elitist?" The first one, you know, rolls off the tongue a little bit better than the latter, in my opinion. My Hero Academia is predictable and boring. I can kind of agree with you on the predictable part, but I do not agree with you on the boring part. I feel that just because a story is predictable, that doesn't automatically make the show boring or bad. Like, you can make something be predictable, but it still be fucking epic. I feel that's how most shonen series get their raps, and the fact that, yeah, the hero is most likely going to win, but it's still fucking exciting to watch that hero win. Like, near the end of every single One Piece arc, I know that the Straw Hat Crew is going to win. Everybody knows the Straw Hat Crew is going to win. But we don't care about that because all we care about is how they're going to win, rather than if they're going to win. And the how they're going to win is what keeps us reading, or what keeps us watching, what keeps us engaged with that show. On the opposite end of the spectrum, there are a lot of shows that are not predictable but end up being fucking boring because they're all over the place with so many plot holes. I think JoJo is overrated. Fuck you? Onodera is best girl. Fuck you again. Not every shonen has to revolve around fighting, but it doesn't. When you say shonen, you're probably thinking of stuff like DBZ, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, like all the battle shonen stuff. But again, as I just said, those are battle shonen. There are more shonen than just battle shonen. Are you forgetting about all of the sports-oriented shonen manga and anime out there, like Slam Dunk, Prince of Tennis, Hikaru no Go, etc.? Because I don't think you can label that as fighting in the same way that you do with, like, DBZ. Also, you're clearly forgetting about every single shonen rom-com out there. Toraburu, Ichigo 100%, Eyes. And what about all the comedy series out there, like Saiki Kuso no Sainan, Dr. Slump, Pyuto Fukujaga? You need to get your facts straight before you jump to any unpopular conclusions. Infinite Stratos isn't that bad. I mean, first season, definitely. Second season, though, was a fucking atrocity, and if you don't agree with that, I don't know what the hell you're thinking. Tournament arcs are irritating. Yes, they can be if they're not done correctly. When I think of tournament arcs, there are really only 4 series that I can think of off the top of my head that absolutely fucking nail it, and that is DBZ, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter, and My Hero Academia. Those shows just absolutely fucking nailed what a tournament arc is. And if you don't think that any of the tournament arcs in those 4 series in particular are good in any way, then you're clearly not a shonen anime fan. I'm sorry. Fan service ruins otherwise interesting characters, moments, or arcs. Yes, I can definitely agree with that. I don't know if that can be considered an unpopular opinion though, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who agree with you on that part. But I also feel as well that it has to do with the series as well. Like, there are some series where fan service is kind of necessary, like, you know, ecchi shows, harem shows, and whatnot, because that's what constitutes the show. Like, if you took away all the fan service from, say, Monster Musume no Iru Nichijou, then it would clearly be a fucking boring slice of life show because the characters can't really stand on their own 2 feet based on personality because they're not built like that from the beginning. Whereas shows like Senran Kagura, in my opinion, were fucking ruined absolutely by the overabundance of fan service. It would have been so much better if they just kind of cut it out a little bit. Not all dubs are bad. Yes, that is actually correct. Oh my god. A lot of people think that I am just like a 100% dub hater, which I am absolutely not. There are plenty of dubs that I think are adequate, or sometimes even better than the original sub. It's just that 99% of dubs are kind of shitty. I mean, if I have to list off some dubs that I actually really enjoyed, I would say Fully Cooley, Cowboy Bebop, and Panty and Stocking. Those 3 in particular, their dubs are fucking awesome. Everything else, though, can pass. Just because a show is bad doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Thank you! Thank you so much. Oh my god. I'm so happy that people understand that because it's everything that I do on my channel. So many people are like, Joey, if this show sucks so much, then why are you watching it? Just because a show sucks, it doesn't mean it's not enjoyable to watch. Yes, there are plenty of shows out there that are bad and mediocre. I will understand those. But there are also a lot of shitty shows that are just hilarious to watch because they're shitty. It's the so bad that it's good kind of shows. And I plan to do a lot more videos on shows like that because I definitely want to get that message across of just because a show is shit doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Golden Kamuy is not appreciated enough. Thank you. You are absolutely correct on that. More people need to watch Golden Kamuy and stop fucking bitching about the shitty 3D bear, alright? Liking obscure anime doesn't make you a better anime fan than anyone. You're right. I feel that the best anime fans are the ones that can appreciate the obscure stuff, but can also appreciate the mainstream stuff. Just be open to a lot of shit, man. Like, don't be like, oh, I watch all of these obscure anime that I bet you didn't know, and then just shut your drawers and not let anybody else into your obscure circle jerk. Like, it's fine to watch obscure shit, just, you know, be nice to people who may not be so familiar with those kinds of obscure shows as you are. Is Unpopular to say Mirai Nikki is the most overrated anime ever? Definitely unpopular, and I definitely agree with you. Look, Mirai Nikki was good, but seriously, if Yuno wasn't there to be like the yandere queen, it would nowhere be near as popular as it is now. Like, I feel Yuno is the only thing that is still keeping that series afloat. Which is odd because she's not even the yandere queen, alright? There have been plenty of yanderes in anime before and after Yuno that I feel do a much better job at the whole yandere thing than Yuno ever did. I don't know, like, I understand if you're obsessed with Yuno and like you're obsessed with the whole yandere craze, but seriously, like, just imagine a Mirai Nikki without Yuno, and imagine how fucking boring it would be. You don't want to because you love your yandere so much, and I understand that, but just quiet down about Mirai Nikki, alright? There are much better shows out there. Elfen Lied is not that deep. I don't think I ever took Elfen Lied as this deep series. Like, it's certainly gory, and it does have its philosophical elements, but when it comes to the deep factor, I don't think Elfen Lied is the most deep anime out there. I think what made Elfen Lied so controversial and so talked about, like, way after it came out, was the fact that, yes, it is one of the goriest series out there that is also gory for the right reasons. Like, obviously, we have shows like Corpse Party, which are considered way gorier than Elfen Lied ever was, but also Elfen Lied had a, you know, actually interesting story and characters, unlike Corpse Party. And I feel that the way that Elfen Lied expressed these ideas of humanity and what it means to be human, what it means to love something that isn't human and familiar to you, was done in a really interesting way that at the time that Elfen Lied came out wasn't really explored in that kind of gruesome, gory, very raw way. So yes, I do agree that Elfen Lied isn't the deepest anime out there, but it certainly does have its deep elements. I actually liked Fate Stay Night 2006. Don't lie to yourself, no one liked that. ReZero is so overrated, I hate this anime. Yeah, that's certainly an unpopular opinion. I do agree, it is overrated. I will say that it is a good show, definitely overrated though. I'm not a fan of the Dragon Ball series and I'm genuinely confused as to why it's so popular. Because at the time that Dragon Ball came out, it was something unlike anything that the anime world had ever seen. Like, yes, Toriyama Akira created Dr. Slump before Dragon Ball, and you can definitely see elements of Dr. Slump in early Dragon Ball. But the way that Dragon Ball transitioned from this comedy about this monkey boy trying to collect some Dragon Balls to make a wish, to this epic battle bonanza that basically spread across the entire galaxy and universe of the show, was something that not a lot of people were familiar with when it came to manga. Not a lot of people thought that that was even possible. It was a series that basically revolutionized an entire genre back in the day, and a lot of people have tried to basically follow in its steps, but to no avail. I also feel that the other reason may have to do with the fact that Toriyama Akira's art style is very, very unique. Like, no doubt it is an anime style, but it's also not your typical anime style. It almost has like a Western comic book style to it as well. So I feel it was just a combination of artwork and timing. And, you know, like, I love me some Dragon Ball, but I will admit that not every Dragon Ball iteration was fantastic. I mean, I thought GT was pretty goddamn fucking boring, and I'm not really a fan of Super at the moment. I've seen like the first like 10, 20 episodes of Super. Not really buying it, in all honesty. Assassination Classroom is extremely underrated. I actually don't agree with that. I definitely don't think it's overrated because I loved it and it got the appreciation that it deserved, but there are a lot of people who enjoyed Assassination Classroom. Just because people have stopped talking about it now that it's finished, it doesn't make it underrated. Like, when the series was serializing and when the episodes were airing, like both seasons were airing, that show was being talked about a lot in Japan and in the West. There's a lot of manga who deserved an animation compared to some anime. Yeah, again, it's not an unpopular opinion, that's just straight up fact, my dude. Naruto has a lot of continuity and is actually a very good anime. Everyone that thinks it's stupid probably don't understand what is going on in it and can't follow the story. We can't follow the story because the timing at which fucking Kishimoto likes to put in his filler, his infamous filler arcs, is the most nonsensical, like, shoehorn shit that we've ever seen in shonen. I've mentioned this on stream a couple of times, but the whole reason that I prefer One Piece over Naruto is the fact that Oda Eiichiro, the author of One Piece, knows when to put in a filler and for how long. Like, the moment you see a filler episode or a flashback episode in a One Piece arc, it's at a point where we're most interested. The peak of interest for the character of focus in that arc has reached its maximum. It's the point where we're like, I want to know more about this character. And then boom, the filler arc comes in, we get to learn more about the backstory of that character, and then now that we are fully attached to that character, we can bring forth the conclusion of the arc. Whereas in Naruto, the filler arcs are definitely full of quality. Like, don't get me wrong, like, as much as people like to complain about the filler arcs of Naruto, yes, the actual content of the filler arc at most times are very, very important. But the timing at which these filler arcs are placed in the story and the sheer length of some of these filler episodes and background arcs are just nonsensical. It's ridiculous. Like, there was a point in Naruto, which I'm not going to go into in full detail, but basically it was an arc where one of the very important characters from, like, basically the start of the series was about to get killed by the antagonist of that arc, and right before the striking blow to that character, it goes into a 100 chapter background arc and filler episode. Like, why now? And because that flashback arc and filler was dragged out for so long, by the time that arc finished and you're brought back to the real time, you don't remember what the fuck was happening. So yes, I'm not arguing about the fact that Naruto has zero continuity or that the filler episodes actually sometimes have some good context. It's just the timing and the length at which those filler episodes are put in just makes it not worth it. Ooh, I've definitely angered some Naruto fans now, shit. And last but not least, because we have to end it with this, I liked SAO when I first watched it. And you know what? I did too. When I first watched it. A lot of people have publicly called me out and saying, "Oh, Joey, you've hated Sword Art Online for so long, and yet the first time you ever talked about it on the internet, you actually gave it a really positive review, so you're being a little bit hypocritical, aren't you?" Well, no, because since the first time I reviewed it until today, I've seen a lot more anime, and I have put in a lot more knowledge when it comes to what makes a good anime, what makes a bad anime, what makes a mediocre anime. I've put so much more knowledge into my own head that when I revisited it, I have had a much different opinion on what I used to think about that show. And that's why I don't blame anyone who says that they think Sword Art Online is good, because they're basically just me 5 years ago. Like, I implore you, if there's anyone watching this video who likes SAO and can't understand the hate behind its shitty writing and its shitty characters, 5 years down the road from today, go back and rewatch it. After you've seen all sorts of different anime out there, good and bad, go back to SAO and maybe you'll actually come to understand why we feel so strongly about the bad writing in SAO. And if you don't, then, well, you know, that's fine. Like, obviously, that just means you like SAO, and I don't have a problem with that. But me personally, I started to see why this show wasn't as good as a lot of people thought it was. So yeah, on that bombshell, I think we'll end this video right here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. Maybe I can turn this into some kind of a series where I grab your guys' unpopular opinions on Twitter about anime and I kind of, you know, do an off-the-cup, non-scripted debating and discussion video like this, because it was a lot of fucking fun. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like, and also let me know in the comments below what you guys think about any of the unpopular opinions I said and some of the comebacks that I gave to some of those unpopular opinions. Like, you know, a lot of people were saying on Twitter that, oh man, there are so many salty people here. Why do so many people care about these kinds of things? Well, you know, it's a good way for different types of anime fans to talk to each other. Like, this is the only way that us anime fans can talk to each other, is by talking about anime. So I honestly don't see the problem with people debating about anime and all that kind of stuff. And it's a ton of fun. Like, yeah, some people may come out salty and and fucking push the dislike button for something stupid that I said in this video, but at the end of the day, we all fucking love anime. Our personalities may differ, our personal preferences on shows may differ, but at the end of the day, we all love the same shitty Japanese cartoons, okay? So we're all one big salty family at this point. But again, I would love to make this into some kind of a series, you know, like every other series that I haven't been able to make consistently. But if you guys enjoyed it, then I guess also leave in the comments below, like, what are some ideas for like a series name for this, like Unpopular Opinions or Arguing Weebs or something like that. I don't know. If you have any good ideas for like a show name of this kind of stuff, then also leave it in the comments below. And if I do end up making another one of these and you would like to participate with your salty unpopular opinions, then make sure to follow me on Twitter to let out your frustration and anger. But anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, like and favorite if you enjoy, subscribe for more anime banner, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Keep watching anime. Ciao!